what is going on with Real Madrid. I've been saying it for a couple years now. I think there's 100% been an issue ego-wise. Players thinking that they're higher, players thinking that they're better than the manager, the higher-ups, or whatever. And it's been like that forever now. You have players like Vinicius Jr., who I've seen grow into the player that he is. I remember him joining, when he was in Flamengo, and I had the bad couple 2 years that he had to become a Champions League winner, to winning it twice with Real Madrid. Potentially almost a Ballon d'Or winning season, just for the last 2 years to be awful, just terrible. He's nowhere near. I can 100% see better players be on that left side of the pitch. But Vinicius Jr., yes, he has glimpses. He's shown in a couple games, but a handful, not a lot of games where he can be that player. But 9 times out of 10, he's not. I don't want to say he's a waste of space on that left hand side. I think there'll be so many other players that can go into that role and play better. I'm not here to bash just Vinny. It's the entire thing, and it's egos also. You have players thinking that they're higher. You have Mbappe. I'm include everybody. I think it's an everybody thing. Mbappe, Jude, Vinny, Fede, just the whole team in general. You bring in a coach like Xabi Alonso, which I wanted in this club so bad for many years before he was in Leverkusen. You can ask anyone I know. I wanted him before he was in Leverkusen, when he was coaching the Castile, when he was coaching, not even the Castile, when he was coaching the juvenile teams. Just for him to finally join after having a good season with Leverkusen. Second season didn't go as good as the first, but he brought a Leverkusen team who were almost in the relegation zone and took them to Europe. Next season, goes invincible with them in the league, loses the Europa League, wins the DFB Pokal, and then third season Leverkusen didn't really win anything, still qualified for Europe. But yeah, then he comes to Real Madrid, and I expect a huge. He said he's going to implement these things, the tactics. He's going to implement, more structure, more, tactical analysis. Going through reviews and stuff like that. With Carlos Ancelotti, you 100% know that that's not how he coaches. Carlo Ancelotti is more of a give and go manager. You tell, go play the best. He's not really tactical structure like that. He's more of a, old school football, attacking minded football. And then so you bring in this guy with Xavi, which you expect him to, I didn't expect Real Madrid to snap their fingers and boom, they're playing like prime Barcelona. No, I expected slowly in time they'll get used to the system and eventually become the team that they're supposed to be. And, knowing Real Madrid, they're never going to give Xavi time. The players weren't going to listen or give him time because they're just so used to, this ideology of them playing in a certain way and they don't want change. Then you have this past couple months, and then, that's where everything starts breaking out and Xavi lost the dressing room. He implemented everything that he wanted. Club World Cup, for me, that was the best time Real Madrid has played. They looked spectacular in the Club World Cup, played how he wanted. Maybe it was because Vinny or Mbappe weren't playing together. I think that's a huge thing. I've been saying it forever now. Yes, they have games where they look great together, and then the next thing you know, they play terrible together for the next 5 games. It's like that all the time. But in the beginning of the La Liga season, he was dropping players who were playing horrible. He's dropping Vinny. He was dropping, you see a player not performing. He makes changes. Madrid didn't have a proper starting 11. I want to say like till match day 8, he was changing every starting lineup, and I said it was a good thing. You have players, you have championship players, in that bench too. Rotating is key. That's how you win, as a whole. That Barcelona, that's how Barcelona did it. You had, their starting 11, and you had their bench, which are just, you can say Pedro, you can say Fabregas, you can say, et cetera, et cetera. You have key players in the bench, and you need to rotate the squad because there's nothing wrong about having a strong starting 11 and a strong bench, and you can intertwine both of them. Players didn't like that. Vinicius Jr. clearly made it known that he didn't like that, and the Classico was the last straw. After that Classico, Xavi barely touched Vinny. He made sure he would sub him out here and there, but most of the time Vinny was playing every match, and that's embarrassing. You lost. You lost it. You were implementing what you wanted. just for the media, just for the fans, just for players to go against that. It, it ruined everything, and Xavi was forced to do what they wanted. Was forced to, and they couldn't implement what he wanted. That's what annoys me. And then you have that's where all the tension coming out, and like how the dressing room is divided, and like these kids, these guys didn't want to listen to what he was implementing, and didn't like how, how he was. They didn't like his hour reviews of teams and stuff like that. And the manager of Pintos coming back in, Chubby didn't want that. It was just a whole thing, and then bringing in Arbeloa and sacking Xavi was a huge mistake. Not because Arbeloa, I'm not saying he's a bad coach. He's done amazing things in the juvenile teams, and then finally got his chance into Castilla. I think they brought him in to be the punching bag. I think he would be a great coach, but not coaching this egotistical, spoiled Real Madrid side. Each of these players, they're spoiled, and they've shown it, and it's just embarrassing. They put Arbeloa on the spot to be the guy to blame, and this sucks. And I hate how he's going into interviews saying, "Oh, it's my fault. It's my fault these players are playing like this. It's my fault why we're losing games." It's really not. It's not your fault. You put your best starting 11 in this match, and they put a performance like that. It was horrible. This complete horrible performance from them. It's not his fault. Same thing probably would have happened with Xavi to an extent, but just because you have a different manager, it doesn't change the way how you actually work together in a way. You don't just. Like, if I put me in Real Madrid manager right now, and the players shouldn't make a huge difference to an extent. Like, you don't forget who you are after receiving a new manager. That's not how it works. You're still Mbappe. You're still Vinicius Jr. You're still Rodrygo. You're still Bellingham. You're still Fede. It doesn't work like that. Which I hate when people are like, "Oh, pop in a new manager, boom, they're gonna play like they're the best team in the world," which is just not the case. That's not how it works. But this Real Madrid team is just a shame. Why is everything pink? I don't know why everything's pink now, but yeah, it's just shocking, and it's more of an ego thing. And then now you have rumors of Unai Emery, Jurgen Klopp. You have Enzo Maresca, and it's just stupid. It's just they should have stuck with Xavi, should have adapted to him, and should have listened. But it is what it is. I hope he goes to Liverpool, and I hope he wins in Liverpool. I don't know. It's just such a stupid thing. And now you see, Madrid are only a point off Barcelona in the league, and then also in the Champions League after dropping to out of the top 8. It's not the best thing you want, but hey, I think the players did that to themselves, and Florentino Perez. That's pretty much what I blame. I don't blame Arbeloa of any of this. He's actually the last person I would blame for the Albacete loss. He's the last person I blame for the Champions League loss. And yeah, it's just embarrassing from this team in general. But we'll see how it goes towards the end of the season.